Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4, I believe, of the Mousetrap podcast. I'm Carter Thweet, joined as always by my co-host Isaac Hardy. Isaac, say hello to the
What's up?
people.
What's up? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm not giving you much time tonight because we have an exciting guest with us. The fans have been clamoring for it. Soon to be married, fresh out the lab, Jacob Deeb's roommate. It's Evan Paltjon here with us. Evan, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited to talk some ball tonight. That's for
Let's
sure.
go.
We are excited to have you, and we got a lot on the agenda tonight, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. So, the bottom two things are if time permits, as you can see. The main event tonight is comparing our F It We Ball teams to real life NBA teams. For the most part, there might be some kind of wonky comparisons in there, more on that later. And then, if we have time, we'll get into the football draft. We already did the first 7 rounds, but we'll get into the end of it, as well as some recent football trades. But again, that is if we have time, because our first item there is definitely the main attraction. And we have some rules for that. I wrote these. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we will look at each team in the league. So there's 12 rounds. Isaac and I are going to make comparisons to, again, for the most part, a real life NBA team, make a brief case. Evan is our judge for the night. Evan, appreciates you serving as the judge. And then I made up this last rule. If it's a 6-6 tie, Evan, you can decide the tiebreaker by picking the
Hmm.
single best comparison. So don't spoil that in
Okay.
advance, maybe. But that's if we need a tiebreaker at the end. And again, this could be quite
I
an
don't think we
exciting.
will.
What's your score prediction, Isaac?
I'm gonna go 7-5 you, honestly.
Oh
Wow,
I
wow.
think
Okay.
I think mine are a little outlandish, and I'm not sure if Evan's really gonna appreciate them.
that feels like reverse psychology. That
No
feels like you
belief in
challenging
yourself.
Evan to. All right, enough of this. Enough of this.
All right,
I'm predicting 6-6. I think this one's going the distance. So our first team tonight is again. I'm going to try to hide us so that we can see the bench. That works like half the time. So apologies if you're watching this and our faces cover it up. Our first team tonight is the Nashville Feckers, and it is occurring to me that I don't remember my comparisons for every single one of these. So on some of them, I might not be able to do the thing where I talk about it beforehand. But we can go ahead and look at the roster here. The thing that jumps out to me is that he has 0 picks. And I am remembering my comparison now. 0 picks. He's got some really good players, Shea, Chet. For me, the comparison here was pretty easy. I'm going to go ahead and go with the New York Knicks. Reason that I'm going with the Knicks is because Logan's clearly gone all in. Only guy in the league with no picks. The Knicks went very all in with the Bridges thing. I think they traded like 5 firsts for him. And it's like, it's admirable. I respect it. Is it going to be enough to get you over the hump? I'm not really sure. And so that's kind of how I feel about Logan. He traded everything he had for these players. He's going to be good. Will he be a championship team? I'm not sure. That's why I'm going with the New York Knicks.
all right, yeah. Well, I kind of went a bit of a different direction, looking more at the makeup of the players themselves. And I noticed I've got Wiggins, OKC, Mitchell, OKC, of course, the OKC Big Three. He's got Hartenstein on there. But I went with kind of a more outlandish pick here, and I said the 2029 Oklahoma City Thunder. Because I can't say that Oklahoma City Thunder is currently constructed because that's such a dominant team laden with assets and draft picks and things like that. But I'm thinking as we move down the road, of course, this summer they signed SGA, J Dub, and Chet to these long extensions. But as we go down the road, their asset bank is just going to diminish and diminish and diminish. So I'm saying by 2029, they will be a fringe contender with these three superstars, but have the lack of draft picks. That's why I went to 2029 OKC Thunder.
I want to make counterpoints, but I don't know if that's legal. Do we just go ahead and make the decision?
I
I
think
mean, I would say go ahead and make counterpoints.
I think like 10 seconds for like super quick counterpoint because we do have 12 teams to get through. I just again, and I know like we don't exactly know the criteria, but if we're looking at the whole situation, the Thunder have the most picks in the league. I think even in 2029, they're still going to have picks. And to me, the thing that stands out about Logan's team is that only team in the league with no picks. That's my counterpoint. But I see your comparison.
all it stands out to me is he's literally got the Oklahoma City Thunder's like top four fantasy scores.
He also has Josh Hart. Just keep that in mind. Evan, I think it's that time.
I mean, I feel like with this one, especially, you got to consider the rules. I was previously thinking that it was just going to be like current teams. But I don't know. This 2029 OKC Thunder is an interesting concept. I think for this one, man, I don't know. I'll probably have to go New York Knicks, I think.
Okay.
Go with Carter's idea. I definitely agree, like giving up all those picks, just for, do they get over the hump? Who knows? We'll see. Can Logan do that, with this squad here? I don't know, kind of the same situation. I do like that his team is a little bit younger, so I mean that's good, but yeah, I guess I'll have to go with Carter.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was a little surprised when Isaac sent me his list, but then I tried to get a little funny on a few. I tried to match the vibe, so we'll see that a little later on. I believe our next team is the Memphis Gooners.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, they made a very big recent trade, got a lot of assets. Isaac, what's the comp here?
Yeah. So this one is one of my more regular comparisons, I believe. So thinking about Grant generally, in fantasy and in these sorts of team building things like in Madden or 2K or something like that. He tends to do pretty well at taking young players and turning them into something. But whenever I look at the current state of his team, it's buns. He is definitely, I think, has the worst team in terms of how many points they're going to score next season. Look at these picks. I look at our general manager here. And so I'm thinking of a young team that maybe in the past has not looked to be going in the right direction, but I think is trending actually up right now. And that's going to be the Washington Wizards.
Hmm.
Kind of a deep cut here, but a lot of young guys. And in the past, they've been bad, but they're really kind of making a turn. The management seems to be doing well. And I think the Wizards in a few years will be really good. And I think the Memphis Gooners in a few years will be really good as well.
Yeah, good comp. So this one I got a little bit funky because I had the perfect comparison. It was nails. It was so good. And then Grant makes this trade, and it's just like I put in all this work to make this incredible comparison. I'm at the mountaintop, and then it all comes crashing down. So that is why I've chosen to compare Grant to Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles in Game 7 of the 2025 NBA Finals. My hopes and dreams were ripped away from me. I also had to switch out the slides that we had here. So it was just really devastating. And my old comparison crumbled to dust, which is why I've chosen to go with this very sad comparison for me personally.
I guess taking that into consider, oh, well, I guess first counterpoints. Any counterpoints? Okay, yeah,
I
I
think
was
mine
gonna
is pretty
say,
hard to counterpoint, but also to like go for. It just, it is what it is.
yeah. I think here I'll go with Isaac for sure with the
Go.
Washington Wizards young team. I honestly was thinking kind of along the same lines, like the Rockets or something several years ago.
Mhm.
So I can definitely see like the young team. They have some interesting pieces, but we'll see what they do with this treasure trove of
I'm look I'm
assets.
looking at Grant's 2027 draft that I
Yeah,
think could be a monstrous draft. But
five first
we shall see.
rounders or something. Six,
Yeah,
maybe
five. So
five. Okay, yeah.
all right. Let's move on to our reigning champions here. Cardi will be going first with the Davis Defenders. What do you think of Austin's team?
Well, what I'm thinking right now is that I do. Oh, yes, I do. I remember my comparison here because it's great. I mean, it's just when you look at this team, it's easily the first thing that comes to mind. What I'm seeing here is one franchise superstar who is well loved, right? In Luka Doncic. Austin loves him, right? The fans love him. But around that, it's just kind of like, they've got these young guys. They're pretty good, but it's like, is this team going to continue their championship status, right? Austin won the championship this year. He has the most success in the league in a short time. This team I'm comparing him to has the most success in the NBA in recent years, but you just wonder if the guys around this one player are ready to continue that legacy. And so for that reason, I've chosen the Golden State Warriors. Even
Hmm.
though the age is different, I see the comparison with how loved Steph is in Golden State and how much Austin loves Luka. But there's just a lot of guys around him where I'm kind of like, are they ever going to win another championship? I'm not 100% sure. And Isaac, no disrespect to your Warriors, but that's why I've gone with that comparison.
Okay, yeah, mine. This is another one of my unconventional ones. I was looking at some of these players, looking at Luka Doncic, James Harden, Zion for sure. as a bonus as well, maybe even a Dalton Connect. And I had to go with the New York Fix.
Yeah.
Just you got to think that you put Luca, Harden, Zion, Sabonis, and Connect in a Waffle House, and they will put that thing out of business. It will eat
Why?
so much.
Why connect?
Have you seen? He's
I
big. He's a big man.
I don't know. I
I
didn't
mean,
think he
he's in
was.
decent
Yeah.
shape though.
No, I
So
mean,
yeah, so that's my comp. New York Fix.
I respect. I mean, only counterpoint would be, these aren't the stars of the team, but people are saying Grady Dick is in the best shape of his life. So you got to show him some respects there. I don't think you can lump him in with all these other fat camp type guys, but I see the comparison for sure.
Thank you, thank you.
I guess, yeah, man, I don't know. These are two completely different comparisons. Uh, man, this just makes me think. What are we going for? What do the rules say here?
I
How am I
mean,
supposed to
you
pick
make the
between these
rules. It's
two?
it's your it's you now. It's up to you. And I could see like it's very different. I could see it going either way. It's truly up to you.
I mean, I think I'm gonna go with the New York fix here. That is just so
Oh,
creative. I like Carter's Golden State comparison. But I will say the pieces around Luca are probably a little bit better than what Golden State has going on. Um,
true, true.
yeah,
Trey
that
Young's top 15 fantasy got traded for one first round pick.
So I will say Sabonis is truly
26.
a fantasy monster. So that is a guy who Austin is happy to have for sure.
yeah,
Harden as well. Harden as well. But
Harden's also been good. Yeah, the Thix
let's
is
take a
just so
look at
creative.
our runner up, the Jaguars, headed, of course, by Tucker Cromwell. And he is in one heck of a position. You look at that starting lineup, just full of all stars, all NBA players, top of the league, and even his bench, guys like Jaren Jackson, John Morant, Don Collins. So I went with another unconventional here, and I said this is the Lakers offseason fan edits. Every offseason, you see that post on Instagram where it's the top 15 guys in the league all wearing Lakers jerseys, and the Lakers are targeting Giannis and Jokic and Steph and Kyrie, and they make some edit where they're in the jersey. And Tucker has made that a reality here with his team. So that's my comparison.
I respect it. I respect it. I will say I feel really good about my comparison here, and it is a little bit more conventional. But when I see Tucker, it's a team that was second best in the league last season. And I think you could argue, I'll go ahead and give it away. Even as a Pacers fan, you could make the case that the Nuggets were the second best team in the league last season. But they're not satisfied with that, and neither is Tucker. Tucker has made so many moves this offseason. He's been going crazy. He's not just content with his good team and his fantasy studs. He's making moves. Obviously, the Nuggets did the Cam Johnson thing. They got Bruce Brown. They got Jonas Valanciunas, who is literally on Tucker's roster. So when I think of Tucker, I think of a team that was really, really competitive, could have won the championship, and now is making moves to ensure that they will win the championship. I think the Nuggets have a good shot next year, and I think Tucker does too.
Mm.
Counterpoints.
No,
All right, moving on.
Well, you
Um,
got. Oh,
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say you got to pick your winner, but I see that's what you're doing.
Oh yeah, I'm about to pick my winner. Yeah, this one for me is pretty easy. Carter, I hate to beat you down, but Lakers offseason fan edits is spot on. I mean, come on. They have the most ridiculous, outlandish ideas every year. And this is, I mean, this is just what a team is this? This is
This is
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, I'm 100% going Lakers offseason fan edits. And
Devin
this
Booker
might be
does
bold to
feel like
say.
a Devin Booker feels like a quintessential, like even though he never really has been like a Lakers jersey guy, and
He
Zubac was
does.
literally on the team, so I respect it.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
love
thank
this
you.
edit. So if it comes down to a tie or this comparison, this could be a tiebreaker.
Nah, I got
Um,
one for you. I got one coming for you.
Well,
Um,
let's look at Bear here, run of course by Trent.
yeah.
Uh, the key here is all those draft picks, of course. I may actually have to rescind my comment about Grant's team being the most buns next year. I think this one will be the most buns next year.
Definitely.
But you look at those draft picks and you think, hey, do I agree with all of his moves? Certainly not. Do I think he could have gotten away more? Absolutely. But you cannot deny the quantity of draft picks he has. And so I was trying to think, I'm trying to be hopeful here for
Hey, I'm really
TJ.
sorry. Are you about to go? Because I'm first this round.
No, yeah, no, I knew that. I was just setting the stage.
At first, I thought you were just doing a really in-depth breakdown, and then you started talking more. I was like, "Hold on, buddy." So let me just take over real quick. Obviously, when I see this, I see the most assets in the league. Although you could argue maybe Grant has better ones, but he has the most picks in the league. He has totally blown it up. He's got the most picks, and yet I'm I hate to say it about my boy Teach, but I'm not sure he's ever gonna do much with this. I also think a lot of the moves are questionable. And so again, I hate to do it to him, but I think my comparison here is the Brooklyn Nets. They had the most
Mhm.
assets. They had 5 first-round picks, and then they made their picks this year, and everyone was kind of like, "That's what you did with those?" Like it just feels like a thing where they've got all these assets, and yet I don't ever really think the Nets are going to be that good. They do a lot of questionable things with them. So it's not the worst situation, just like TJ is not in the worst situation here, but it's a team with a lot of assets that I'm not sure I trust, and that's Brooklyn Nets to a T.
Well, as I was saying in just kind of my lead up setup stage of this discussion, I look at TJ's team and I want to be hopeful for it. I think, with all of these picks, he's got some guys I like. I like Kaminga. I like Buzelis. I like Koulibaly. And I'm trying to think of a team, maybe in a similar situation, a team that kind of blew it all up. I'm going to go with the 2013 Boston Celtics. Now, this might seem like a deep cut, but this is the Celtics team that traded Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Brooklyn Nets, actually, and got back draft picks that they turned into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And just a few years later, they were perennially in the conference finals, an elite team. So I'm going to give TJ the benefit of the doubt here. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to turn this around with all these assets. And I think maybe if he's lucky in a few years, we'll be looking back and saying, you know what, that Trae Young trade was only really bad, not super, super awful. And that Karl-Anthony Town trades was just poor instead of disastrous. So yeah, I'm going to 2013 Celtics.
That's a deep cut. My one brief counterpoint would be I don't know that the team is buns, and I don't know that the assets are that great. Like there's only one draft where he has multiple firsts, and it's Isaacs, Tuckers, and Austin. Those are all good teams. So I guess it just depends on what you think of TJ or his future. I don't think he gets a ton out of this, but if you're more optimistic, I can definitely see how you'd go with your prediction.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely was gonna. I agree with Carter. I was definitely gonna bring that up. The first rounders he got, I mean, they're first rounders, I guess, but they're also into the first round. I mean, these are probably gonna be like decent role players. Who knows? Maybe one of them develops into a star. But they're not early enough for me to really think that they're gonna do anything with them. So I would agree with Carter, especially given that Brooklyn has a ton of first rounders, but I mean, are any of them going to become anything? Who knows?
They drafted Igor
So
Denham. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, but also they should have
No,
traded
I'm
all.
agreeing with you. That was an
Yeah,
agreement. That was an agreement.
Igor is good. I'm high on Igor, but everybody else that they got is like, you know, who knows? Decent role players, I guess, maybe, but we'll
And
see.
TJ has Zaire Williams, who plays for the Brooklyn Nets. So
Good point. I was definitely thinking of
True.
that when I made that
yeah, I
pick.
can't believe I overlooked that. It's embarrassing.
So I believe the count is 3-2 Isaac on top now.
Three
Am I
two
right
me.
about that?
3-2 me.
On to the next.
Let's look at Will Nixon here. Run by, of course, Will. um, looking at this team here, he's got Jokic, of course, just an insane fantasy asset. It's actually, I just want to talk about Jokic here for a second. When you look at average fantasy points per game, Jokic is like almost 10 points ahead of second place. And the difference between like Jokic and like the fifth best is the same as like fifth best and like the 100th best. Like Jokic is insane as a fantasy asset, at least based off of last year. I'm looking at, he's got Cam Johnson, he's got an elite point guard in Brunson. I had to go with the Denver Nuggets here. I just feel like a team that is only contending because of Nikola Jokic, and yet at the same time, it feels like any week you could play Knicks and Jokic could put up 68 points, 70 points, and you're just like, well, not anything I can really do about that. And just like whenever you play the Denver Nuggets, sometimes Jokic is just going to do it to you. So I'm going with the Denver Nuggets.
I think it's a good comp. I think we would differ in, and I don't know if you believe this, but I would say I think the Nuggets are championship contenders. I don't think Nixon is. I do think he can beat you on any given week, but I don't know that he's winning the ship. When I look at this team, they have their stud in Jokic, and they've got talent. You know, the Lakers have Luka, and obviously they've got talent around them. But it's a weirdly built team. Like I noticed he has Reeves at the small forwards, just kind of odd. His two utility guys are small forwards. I know a lot of people like to put centers there for the rebounding advantage. And the biggest thing is that he has made no moves since this league started, hasn't touched it. And if there's one thing I know about the Los Angeles Lakers, it's that their fans are always begging, Palinka, do something, please get us a center. And so I look at a team with a lot of talent, but it's built a little weird. We all know about the Lakers, center problems. And they don't make a lot of moves, and so that's why I went with LA Lakers.
Yeah, I think Carter wins for sure on this one. That's a little bit more creative. I agree. I was looking at his roster, I don't know, a week or so ago, and was a little bit confused by the build. I think he's good, but not great. Not going to win it. So yeah, I would agree with Carter on this one. And I want to point out the Nuggets comparison. I mean, yeah, it's there, but it's also kind of a lazy comparison. So
They literally have Jokic.
yeah,
Yeah, wait for my comparison.
but I see what you're doing.
So that puts us at 3-3 here.
Tied up.
Carter, break me down.
Carter wins
Yeah,
this one.
so
You
I'll
gotta
say
hate the
that
name.
Isaac, I really like your team. I think you've done a lot of good
What?
things.
Wait, Carter, what's my team's name?
Oh yeah, my apologies. It's Team Evan is my BF. Of course, this is Isaac's team. So Isaac, your team was solid last season. I think you guys could have been better. I don't know if you were going for a decent draft pick, but you guys had talent last season, and you were fine. But you've been very aggressive this offseason, and I think looking at guys like Wimby, Giddy is like a sneaky, really good fantasy guy. Obviously, Steph is still very good. Franz is good. I think you have positioned yourself as a sneaky contender, and that is why I'm going with the Houston Rockets, a team that
Hmm.
was good last season, but I don't think anyone thought they were making the championship. And then they did some things in the offseason. They were aggressive. They went out and got Kevin Durant, and now people are like, oh, that might have been what they needed. I still don't think the Rockets are going to win the championship, and I don't think you're going to, but I think you've put yourself in the conversation with an aggressive offseason, which is why I'm going
Hmm,
Houston Rockets.
appreciate that. Yeah, Team Evan is my boyfriend is doing really well. My comparison is a similar vein of thought. Thinking about I didn't finish very well in the standings last year, but that wasn't necessarily from a lack of talent. Part of the reason I didn't do so well is when we got hurt, LaMelo got hurt, Steph missed some time. I just had some injuries and ended up pulling my guys. But I think of a team in a similar situation, a team that if you polled GMs, what position, if you could swap your whole roster with any other roster, what roster would you want? And a team that I think would be very near the top, if not the very top, and that is the San Antonio Spurs in terms of the collection of young talent. Wimby, I know the Wimby comparison, but you also think about they got guys like De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, they got Stephon Castle, they got Sohan, they got Harrison Barnes, they got some of these guys down there and a team that last year didn't perform very well. And this year, a lot of people are sleeping on them, but aren't recognizing the potential that the Spurs have to actually make some noise in the Western Conference. Should Wimby make the leap? Should Stephon Castle make a leap? Should Dylan Harper be able to fit to the system as a rookie? Considering I still have many first round assets, a lot of young players, I'm going to say the San Antonio Spurs. That's my call for myself.
I hate the name. I think I even offered Isaac a second rounder just to change his name or something at some point. But I gotta go with Isaac here. And the reason being, these are similar veins of thought. The reason that I picked the Spurs over the Rockets is that the Spurs keep getting lucky. And I think Isaac has gotten lucky with his trades because some of these trades are just dumbfounding. I mean, I'm so confused by these. So yeah, I gotta go with Isaac here.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the injuries piece was really good. Isaac's more educated on his team than I am, obviously, and it showed there. So good comp.
Thank you. So that puts us at 4-3 myself.
Sure does.
Okay, so I'll break down your team card here, the Achilles Rehab Facility. This guy really loves his nicknames for his players. Some of them are um, interesting. And I look at, of course, the IR spot here is what you really need to focus on. And, there may be a temptation to think, you know, Halliburton. We got Nimhard, Carter's the Pacers guys. Compare this team to the Pacers, but I went the opposite direction, looking at another team who is kind of in a rebuilding 1 year and then is ready to contend again the next year. Which I think Carter will be once Tatum and Halliburton come back. He's got Sengun's a monster. Dyson Daniels low key underrated because of all his steals, but things like that. And so I'm going to go with the Boston Celtics. I think the Celtics this year are not going to do very well, just like Carter's not going to do very well this year. Then next year they get Tatum back, they get cap space back. They start to put it all together, rebuild this team, and they'll jump right back up into contention. Whereas, as much as I love, I guess I'll let Carter make his pitch, and I'll make my counterpoint.
Yeah, you kind of started making your counterpoint during your actual point. But we went very similar here. I definitely have the most interesting IR in the league. And I went with another gap year team, which is my team, the Indiana Pacers. And I didn't just do it because I'm a Pacers fan. I think number one, the Celtics have the championship, and I have not come anywhere close to a championship. The Pacers also don't have the ring. But I also think I have a lot of young guys that I'm excited to kind of audition. Dyson Daniels is already really good, but like with Halliburton out, can Nimhard actually do something? Obviously, that's the exact spot the Pacers are in. The Cell, I'm excited to see. Shaden Sharp. So I think I have a lot of young guys to look forward to this upcoming season. Whereas the Celtics, it kind of just feels like they know who their guys are and they're just all waiting for Tatum to get back. The Pacers will be trying out Nimhard, Mather, and guys like that. So it's basically the same answer, but I'm going with the Pacers for the simple reason that I have more young guys to audition and I also don't have the ring.
Hmm. Well, my one thing would be, well, I think your team's going to get better next year, like the following year once you get from back from injuries. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with Tucker's squad, Austin squad, my squad. Whereas the Celtics, I think once they get their guys back, will be once again right there at the very top.
Doesn't that defeat your point?
I don't think the Pacers will be able to compete once they get their guy, once they get Hallie
Oh, and you
back.
think I will? You think this team will be able to compete?
I think you right.
I
I'm getting
see.
confused.
I think I just disagree about the Pacers. I mean, they made the finals this season. I think, anyway, even without Miles Turner, they'll be good, but a point for another day. We've spent too long on it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Carter here. I think the fit is just a little bit cleaner. Younger guys. I mean, Halliburton, Nimhard's already on here, so I'm gonna go with Carter. I think it's a little bit cleaner of a
Nice.
comparison.
So
It's
that's
kind of
4-4.
tomato tomato there for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. All
We
right.
have Batman here, Mr. Kamish. Just kidding. That's football. My apologies. But we have Drake Bass here, Team Batman. I'm gonna be honest. I do remember my comparison. It always comes to me eventually. When I look at this team, two things stand out. They have a lot of really good players, but I don't know that they have any like top five fantasy guys. But it's a lot of good. Like almost every position, I'm like, yeah, that's a good fantasy asset. The other thing is that I really trust the management, not to glaze my boy Drizzy Drake too much, but I think he knows ball. I think he's smart, and I think he's built a good team here. But I just don't know that they have like a top five guy, and I don't know that he's going to win a championship. And that's why I've gone with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they've built a really good team. I trust what they're doing, but I just don't know if Donovan Mitchell is that guy. And I don't think they're going to win a championship, just like, unfortunately, I don't think Drake is, even though I really like most of the moves he makes.
Mm. So I went with kind of an unconventional pick here. Just looking down the roster, I look at guys like Derek White. I look at guys like Kamara, Mobley, Kawhi, Caruso, Lonzo. And just the depth of defensive talent he has here on this team. So I went with the all defensive first team as my comparison here. Even guys like De'Aaron Fox can guard, Scotty Barnes can guard, Trey Murphy can guard. So I felt like just this collection of defensive talent on his team really makes it rather an easy selection there for the all defensive first team as my team comp.
Yeah, only real counterpoint would be that Nick Richards' nickname is literally No D, but other than that, I've got nothing.
Mm,
I mean, I think here these are kind of two different trains of thought.
They often are.
The the defense is a good point. I hadn't thought about that. I do like Carter's fit too, though. So I think. Man, I don't know what to do here. I'll go Carter. I did like the point about Donovan Mitchell. I mean, Drake has a great squad. It is younger, which is kind of true of the Cavs. But I don't think that they're going to be able to get over the hump. Who knows? I mean, I think Cade Cunningham has another level he can get to. So maybe in the future. But yeah, I like Carter's comparison, especially with the point about Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
It is a tough one for Isaac. I think those were both really good. I think Isaac's was a little more creative, but I do think I had a good
Yeah.
comparison there. That was, again, tough round, tough round.
Nice. That puts us at 5-4, Carter.
Sure does.
All right. The Huntsville Hand Crane, ran by Charlie Parsons. This is another one of my kind of a little deeper cut, but I think you all be able to track. So I look at Charlie and I'm confused. This is a team that if it were me, if I were running it, I would say throw it in the garbage bin, rebuild. You got Bankero, you got Miller, you got some of these young guys. You had, all these first round picks in this year. You had your own picks coming up. But Charlie kind of went with a different approach and half contended, half rebuilt. He's kind of walking this little two timeline approach, which is a term I heard very often with my Golden State Warriors in the uh, 2023-2024 season, where it's like Steph and like an old Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. It's like they can't quite compete, but they're trying to build up Jonathan Kuminga and all these other guys. And it just felt like pick a timeline, either win now or lose now, but don't walk the line in the middle. And that's what I feel like Charlie is doing right now. He's trying to walk that line. And I think he's going to just find seventh place finishes for the next 4 years unless he picks a direction.
Yeah, I see the comp for sure. And I also am not exactly optimistic on Charlie's team. I look at it and I see talent. Like it's not an awful situation. Like you said, he's got all the young guys that you mentioned. But similar to you, he just does things where I'm like, what? Like you traded what for Jose Alvarado? And so when I think about a team that has talent, it's not an awful situation, but they just do confusing things. And I'm like, you probably should be competing, but I just don't trust you to. I'm going with the Toronto Raptors. I have that thought with them a lot. It's like, okay, you traded that for Brandon Ingram, or like you're paying Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel quickly how much exactly? And the Raptors should probably be competing. They have the talent, but they do a lot of questionable things, and I just don't trust them to, despite the talent that they have.
Hmm.
I think here, yeah, I'm gonna go with Isaac on the two timeline approach. Yeah, I've definitely been trying to figure out what he's doing. He has a good amount of young guys, but he also has some older guys that are gonna be phased out soon. So definitely needs to pick what exactly he's doing, and then go all in on that. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, one thing I appreciate that, but one thing I just think is interesting is one of our earliest trades this offseason before we kind of hit the big bang was he traded Jamal Murray and John Collins for Donovan Mitchell. Well, it was a trade with Tucker. And just the two different directions these franchises have gone since that trade with Tucker making win now successful move after win now successful move, and Charlie just kind of making sideways horizontal moves that left him in the same spot. But we'll move on to our Evan Paltjon comparison
Yeah,
run, of
five
course,
to
by
five.
Evan.
This is really exciting, and this is a comparison I'm excited for because every now and then you see a team and you're just like, I have never seen anything like this in my life, and I don't think I ever will again. Um, First of all, he's made no moves, none. Since the day the league started, he hasn't touched it. So that makes me think of a team like the Lakers, but I've already used the Lakers, and with all due respect, I'm not sure Evan's that good. It makes me think of a team like the Bulls, whose fans are always just begging them to do something. But I'm like, the Bulls never tank. That's one of the things their fans want them to do. And Evan has the 102. He was clearly willing to commit to tanking. So then I think of tanking teams like the Jazz or the Wizards, but they make moves, they make trades, they move Jordan Poole. Evan doesn't make moves. And that is why I've chosen to compare Evan's team to this all knowing, all seeing deity because you don't know exactly what it is. and you don't know exactly what it does, but you know you've never seen anything like it.
Mm, fascinating, honestly.
That
I
is
went in
not where I
a
thought that was going.
that actually was kind of my runner-up, but I went in just kind of a little different direction with mine. I looked at some of the names that stand out to me on this team. Names like Jalen Green, Anthony Edwards, Cam Thomas, Anthony Simons, D'Angelo Russell, Scoot Henderson. The thing about these sort of classic, like two guard, scoring guard type guy, but also a little inefficient shot chuckery. It made me think of just any mid 2000s NBA teams that's built around some sort of slightly inefficient scoring athletic guard like a Kobe Bryant, a Tracy McGrady, a Vince Carter, that sort of build. Um, Build around a big center like an Embiid, that sort of thing, full of athleticism and size, not so much shooting or skill. And so I went with just yeah, pick a mid 2000s NBA team, and you'll find them constructed just like Evan's team.
Yeah, I am not exactly sure what I was doing when I was drafting. The amount of inefficient two guards, I'm not sure what I was doing.
Mm.
I think with this comparison, I'm gonna have to go with Isaac's mid 2000s NBA teams. I like the other comparison. And I guess this will be part of my little speech at the end. But I have been trying to pay more attention now to what people are doing. And the no moves thing is not for a lack of effort more recently. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Isaac's
Well,
team.
an all-knowing deity makes efforts too, but I see your point. I see your point. That's tough.
Fair
I
enough.
really thought that was going to be my tiebreaker if I needed it. I thought that one would be received
That
better.
is a good one. I like it a lot.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, on to the last. Isaac's up 6-5, and
Oh man.
what a one to end on. Gooning Giannis.
Gooning
What do you see
Giannis,
here?
yeah. One is I just wonder how much time Tyler has at work to come up with all these nicknames for his players. That was another one who doesn't make a lot of moves. I actually tried to make a move with him and I had to call him up to get his attention. And I looked at this team and I noticed kind of the age on it and how it just feels like, yeah, I like a lot of the players, kind of like Giannis, of course, is a beast. KD is good. Like Anthony Davis is good when healthy. This feels like the asterisk on this team. You look at the bench, it's really weak. And so I'm going to go with the 2012 Los Angeles Lakers. You might be thinking, whoa, whoa, deep cut here. But this is the Lakers team that had Kobe, but also had an old Steve Nash and an old Dwight Howard. And it was like, oh, this big three, they've got all these elite guys like a KD, Giannis, Anthony Davis, but it just never quite worked out. Injuries and team chemistry, and it always just kind of broke down. So I look at Tyler's team, I think, yeah, in the vacuum, he might be able to compete. But I just think age on KD, Anthony Davis is not good for games. Van Vliet's kind of past his prime. Kuzma, Tobias Harris is just kind of a past their prime. Give me this team 3 years ago and he's running the league. Right now, I just don't think he's in a position to compete next year.
Yeah, I mine is along the same lines, but a little bit simpler. I see a little bit of young talent. I think Amin is the one who really stands out there. But for the most part, what I see is a bunch of old guys, a bunch of hurt guys, and management that I do not trust in the slightest. And that is why I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's who I was thinking of.
It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, the Tyler and Nico comparisons are they're just so there.
The thing about Tyler though is that he's a lot more Nico will call people and make trades. Tyler sometimes I wonder if we're still on speaking terms. I haven't heard from that brother in a long time because he won't respond to my trades. But that's okay.
Yeah, this
So
is the
yeah.
not for the lack of effort thing that you were talking about.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Carter here.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, not just because it's me, but because it's 6-6. Do you have a tiebreaker in mind? Do you want to go back through the slides one more time?
Yeah, let's go back through the slides. I forgot what that one was, but I really liked that one.
Oh wow, Isaac,
We've
you
got the
fast.
2029 OKC Thunder versus the New York Knicks. We've got the Washington Wizards versus Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles in Game 7 of the 2025 NBA Finals. We've got the Golden State Warriors versus the New York Knicks. We've got the Lakers offseason fan edits versus the Denver Nuggets. We've got the Nets versus the 2013 Celtics, Nuggets versus Lakers, Rockets versus Spurs, Celtics versus Pacers, Cavs versus the all defensive first team, 2023-2024 Warriors versus the Raptors, a deity versus mid 2000s NBA teams, 2012 Lakers versus the Dallas Mavericks.
I think I'm gonna have to go Isaac. He
Mm.
has just a few different comparisons that I think are a little bit more creative than I liked,
I
especially the
think New York
Lakers.
Six was just a
New
stroke of
York,
genius. I
New
gotta.
York Knicks and the Lakers fan edits were the two, and the Spurs, honestly. That luck is just, I mean, come on. Moving up in the lottery, come on. What is that?
Do we? I feel like we're very close to 40 minutes. Do we want to save draft and trades for another day and end on Evan's farewell speech?
I mean, either we don't have very many trades. I mean, I think we only have 5, 7 minutes left, but up to you.
I'm down to speed run it. Evan, you want to go ahead and give your farewell speech to the people?
I'll give my farewell speech. I guess my speech is I was not paying attention for a full year, but I am bought in now. So send me trades, respond to me. I mean the next week or two, is gonna be kind of crazy for me. But beyond that, I'm responding. Send me some trades. Uh, hopefully they're, better than I got one offer, a second, a bench guy, and 2/3 for Joel Embiid. So hopefully I get something better than that.
Made that
So
trade, bro. That's a horrible trade.
I'm not gonna say who that person was, but had to decline that. But send me trades. And yeah, I'm excited for the future of the league.
As
Hmm.
are we. Evan, appreciate you coming on. Wish you luck on your impending wedding and marriage. And I think it was a great contest. And Isaac, you're a deserving winner. Some very creative ones in there.
Evan, I'll give you two firsts for Embiid if you accept it at the altar.
Yeah. Tempting, tempting.
Something to think about. Something to
Let
think
me
about.
yeah, let me think about that. All right, I'll see you
Um,
guys. It
Yeah,
was
see
love
an
you
you, Evan.
honor.
later, Evan. Appreciate you hopping on. We'll go through this next part real quick here. Draft. I'm not really going to call out any specific players because we already did the first 7 rounds. The one thing I'm going to say real quick is that there was just some important picks made. Like, I'm not going to say they were good or bad, too soon to tell, but like, I picked Chitty to win the league after 7 rounds. He didn't even have his QB2 yet. So he got Dak, who's probably going to start for him in round 8. And there's a lot of guys like that. So I'm not going to call out any specific picks, partially because of time, but I will say that if you're sleeping on these last, 12 or so rounds, there was some important stuff going on.
This is where some random guy, Ollie Gordon, will turn into a great fantasy asset for Nixon or C. Tillman. I don't even know who that is, but he might go off for Tucker. This is one where in a few years we'll look back and be like, wow, they got this guy in the 14th round. Um, yeah, questionable quarterback picks. Don't love a Shadur Sanders in the 11th, who may never see playing time. Quinn Ewers, Kirk Cousins, but you never know.
You never know.
So,
I'm saving this screenshot. This will be fun to look back on. We will wrap up real quick with 3 football trades. I'll try to hide our faces again. Isaac,
yeah,
2 of these were mine. One was yours. I'll let you talk about mine so that I'm not biased. What'd you see from this one?
I'm perplexed because I don't see Trevor Lawrence as being that much more valuable than Geno Smith in terms of how many points they're going to score next season.
Hmm.
I think Trevor Lawrence certainly has a longer runway. He's going to be in the league longer because he's younger. But I don't know if he is such an upgrade at a position to warrant giving up a first round pick, especially in fantasy football in the first year where you don't really know how teams are going to shake out yet. Like you may be thinking you're in a position to compete, but maybe you're in the second tier of teams. And then that first round pick becomes more valuable. So I'm just curious what the logic was here, giving up a first to pick up T Law and moving off Geno so quickly, even after he got all these weapons in the offseason, like Genty and Brock Bowers making a step. So
Yeah, I definitely felt worse about this one than my other trade. Just the 3 reasons, real quick, though. Again, it could definitely go wrong for me. Number one, I do think my team will be good. I think this will be a late first, even a season from now. Number two, I like the long runway that he has. And number three, even if Gino improves, I really like Trevor's chances of improving with his new head coach, Mr. Duval. So
mhm.
for those reasons, I think Trevor's an asset, and I don't think that first is going to be super high, but we'll see how it goes. I'd like it if I were Drake too.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. Second one, another man, you were moving your QBs. So here you're getting Penix 2/3 in the second, giving up Caleb Williams. Um, Interesting because I don't know exactly where you drafted Caleb Williams. So he's probably first 4 rounds would be my bet. So I just wonder if you take out the players and you put in the draft positions. If Grant offers you the 5'11", a second and 2/3 for the 306 or whatever it was, if that's a trade you accept. Uh,
Yeah, when you put it that way, honestly, I doubt it. Like moving up 2 whole rounds in the original draft is pretty legit. Reason I did it, it's kind of boomer bust, but I decided I wanted to be win now, and so I didn't know if Caleb or Penix were going to be that different for that purpose. Penix could definitely bust, but I just liked the draft capital here, and again, for a win now team, I don't know that there's a huge difference between these guys. I was trying to flip some of these picks for things, didn't quite work out, but. Obviously, I like the deal for me, but I think Caleb Williams is going to be just fine.
yeah, yeah, we'll certainly see.
And then this last one was yours. I like it for both sides. I think Stafford is one of those guys who, for like 4 years now, I've been like, Stafford, man, he's on his way down. This is his last season, and then it just never is. So I
Hmm.
like getting him. He'll probably put up fine numbers again, but I also like getting something for him. This is a hard trade for me to really be passionate about one side.
Yeah, TJ's only has two quarterbacks on the roster that aren't on his taxi squad, and one of them is Tua. So he basically has 1.4 quarterbacks that he can play on his team. And so I saw that and I said, hey, you're going to need someone. Whenever Tua gets his concussion and misses weeks 7 to 11, you're going to need a guy who can fill in. Stafford, certainly valuable in that position. A second round pick isn't anything worth super crazy to give up for it, but I'm looking to tank this year. Matthew Stafford, I believe, was the only person on my roster over the age of 25. And so getting rid of him just kind of puts me along that timeline. Another second round picks, I think, have more value in football because there's more good players that are going to come into the league than they do in a basketball league. So a second is more valuable here. Probably be a late second, but Matthew Stafford has no value to me this year or next year or likely the year after that. So for me, I gave nothing and got a second round pick.
Yeah, knowing that, I mean, knowing TJ's quarterback situation and you wanting to tank, good trade for both sides.
So,
Definitely our longest episode ever, but I think it was worth it. I think we had a lot of good stuff. Appreciate you all for watching. Isaac, anything you want to say to the people before we sign out?
I'll just drop in the comment section what your favorite comparison was. And did Evan get it right? Should I have won or should Carter have? Wow.
Yeah, I will say I think he slightly misunderstood my version of the tiebreaker, but it was fine. I was saying just pick the best one out of all 24, and I think he kind of did it as a group, but I still think he
Yeah.
won. I think New York Thicks was the best, so I had no qualms with it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you all for watching. See you for episode 5.
Mm.